In April 1968, the British Air Force was struggling with massive budget cuts and morale was at rock bottom. As the Air Force's 50th anniversary approached, most pilots expected a huge celebration with air shows, but politicians refused even that. So one of the pilots took matters into his own hands. Flight Lieutenant Alan Pollock was a commander of the Royal Air Force No. 1 Fighter Squadron. This tradition-steeped unit had not only fought in World War I, but also participated in the famous Battle of Britain in World War II. For this very reason, it was particularly painful for Pollock that April 1st was celebrated without overflights and air shows. As ordered, the 50th anniversary passed without festivities, and there wasn't even a memorial service for the more than 38,000 fallen pilots. But the commander decided not to leave it at that, and his chance was to come just 4 days later. On April 5th, Pollock climbed into his Hawker Hunter aircraft and took off for Norfolk with other fighter jets. It was to be a quiet, low-key flight to take the planes back to their home base. Shortly after takeoff, however, Pollock suddenly left formation and reported that he was having problems with his radio and lost visual contact with the formation. He would fly back to the home airfield alone and meet his comrades there. The other pilots suspected nothing and continued their flight. Now Pollock's real plan could begin. Instead of heading for Norfolk, he first made a low-level pass over a friendly airbase to kick off the Royal Air Force's birthday. After that, he headed for his main target, London. Again, he flew low over the city and then circled the Houses of Parliament 3 times with thundering engines to demonstrate against budget cuts and let politicians know they still had a fighting air force, as he later described. After Pollock flew over the RAF Memorial, which honors the fallen pilots of World War I, the famous Tower Bridge suddenly appeared in front of him. Until this very instant, I'd had absolutely no idea that, of course, Tower Bridge would be there. It was easy enough to fly over it, but the idea of flying through the spans suddenly struck me. I had just 10 seconds to grapple with a seductive proposition, which few ground attack pilots of any nationality could have resisted. My brain started racing to reach a decision. Years of fast, low-level strike flying made the decision simple. Without any notice, he then flew right through Tower Bridge, passing cars and pedestrians only a few feet away. The gap between bridge piers was just 200 feet wide and 100 feet high. After the breathtaking maneuver, the commander paid visits to many more Air Force bases before passing his final airfield upside down, performing a perfect landing and being immediately arrested. The politicians and superiors of Pollock wanted to put him on trial and kick him out of the Air Force, but they knew that he would most likely gain public approval with the justification for his flight maneuvers. A disclosure of the true motives would harm them far more than the pilot himself. After Pollock was held in a mental institution for 2 days, 6 members of Parliament publicly sided with him. Hundreds of congratulatory letters arrived from RAF pilots across the country, and a civilian airline even sent him a barrel of beer. As a result, the Air Force had the perfectly healthy pilot discharged for medical reasons to prevent him from speaking out publicly. The proud RAF pilot nevertheless turned to the public and received encouragement and support from all sides. 14 years later, Pollock was officially cleared of all allegations concerning his protest flight. For the Royal Air Force's 100th anniversary, the Air Force had air shows going on for days. Good for them, as Pollock pointed out in an interview. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like rating and a comment for the algorithm. We just started doing longer videos, and this really helps a lot. If you want to support us even further, feel free to check out our online store, where we offer merchandise, free wallpapers, and much more. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.